A Master Chief called me over at the clinic to yell at me about my tattoo, and I told him that I got recalled, and his buddy told him to shut the fuck up.
This video was sponsored by Veteran Advisor Consulting.
Hi, my name's Forrest. I'm a United States Navy veteran here on Veteran Inc. to share the story behind my military tattoos. I have one military tattoo. I have an anchor to represent my military service, and I put a banner over it, and it has my daughter's name on it. I got my military tattoo after I already gotten out of the service. I didn't really want to get any identifying marks on me that were related to the military while I was in, and once I left I felt a little more nostalgic about it. The Navy had some regulations around tattoos. I don't think you could have them below your sleeve, but when I got recalled back in, I had already been out a couple years, and I got recalled for the war in Iraq, so I was already pretty heavily tattooed. A Master Chief called me over at the clinic to yell at me about my tattoo, and I told him that I got recalled, and his buddy told him to shut the fuck up. So when I was getting tattooed, a lot of the time I was in really intense emotional pain, and when I was under the needle or experiencing the feeling of getting a tattoo, I felt some relief from that. I used to be a cutter when I was a kid, and it was a healthier way to alleviate the emotional pain that I was in. And I always had just got tattooed because I liked to get tattooed. And I was driving and looking down at my arm as I was driving one day and thinking about how when I was a kid I just wanted to die. I just really wanted to die, and I used to cut myself in my arms and just want to be brave enough to cut all the way. And I looked down at what I covered those scars with, and there's a picture of a tattoo machine over one, which is something that thoroughly changed my life. There's an anchor with my daughter's name and a beautiful mandala around another place. So a lot of times I believe that we get tattooed for reasons that we don't even quite know. We're driven by our subconscious, and I believe that most times they are emotional scars rendered in physical form. I joined the military because I didn't have anywhere else to go. There was no other opportunity for me in my life. And it's the same for a lot of foster kids, a lot of people who come from poverty, a lot of people. And I'm not saying that people don't join out of patriotism, but a lot of times you go to a poor neighborhood, that's where you see the recruiting station. And it's a chance for us. It's a chance for us to be something better and to rise above out of our circumstances and get away and make a life. There were a lot of highlights in my military experience. When I joined the Navy, I was a homeless teenager, and I experienced my first, I had my first experience with leadership and self-care, and I learned how to brush my teeth properly in boot camp when I was 18 years old. I was safe. I had 3 hots and a cot. I had a place I needed to be. I had responsibility. I gained the respect of my peers. I learned how to exercise. There were many, many highlights of my military service. And after I left, initially in 2000, I completed my contract. I got out and I was going to school, and I was involved in an accident, and my best friend died. I thought that a weapon was functioning properly, and it was not. And unfortunately his life ended, and I was charged with murder, and I went on trial, and I was acquitted, and I was homeless again after I was acquitted, and I just wanted to die. And so I volunteered for reactivation, and I forward deployed to Iraq as a Navy corpsman, really hoping that I would get an opportunity to be remembered as a guy who died in combat saving somebody, instead of the guy that accidentally killed his best friend. And instead of dying there, I regained my honor and, once again, the respect of my peers, and I felt that I had a place. And on top of that, I started tattooing in Iraq, which is not something I ever thought that I would do. And so my whole career and my whole life is a gift of a war. One person had an idea that I should tattoo, and by the time it traveled around the whole company, they had raised $3,500 to purchase tattoo equipment for me. And we bought it and had it shipped to Iraq, and I did my very first tattoo on myself to practice. And then my first tattoo on another human being was the word strength on the calf of one of my brothers. When I first separated from the military at the end of 2004, I was a little bit lost, and it was pretty immediate, my separation, and my unit was elsewhere, so I felt a little bit alone, but I really dove into my new career of tattooing, and I actually moved to a different state to take a job, and I really put everything that I had into the practice of learning to tattoo and being fully present and showing up. And when I worked, everything else went away and all the demons were quiet, and I could just focus on the present and doing what I'm supposed to be doing in the moment. About 3 years ago, I had felt inspired to write my story. I had been through a lot of things, and my life is pretty good today, and I know that there are a lot of other people out there who struggled with, I'm a survivor of incest and molestation. I'm also a survivor of severe physical abuse and foster care and teen homelessness. And so those things, a lot of times people move on with their life and they just want to forget about those things and not talk about or deal with. But if we don't, those things can have a tendency to drive a person's life. 70% of inmates in the California prison system spent time in foster care. If we went downtown and interviewed all those people on the street who are living with mental illness, I will guarantee you that 90% of them have had severe trauma in their early life. So I'm lucky enough to be a survivor and a thriver, and I cannot go through my life and enjoy my life without sharing how I got to where I am for those who are still suffering. I don't believe that I have the answer for everybody, but I know what worked for me, and maybe what worked for me might work for you. So I spent 3 years typing and editing, and the result is a memoir that I titled Angel Blue, and it is in the process of being published.
Are you tired of not getting the VA benefits you deserve? Give Veteran Advisor a call at 619-349-4225.